Brice here from Mixed Alternative Magazine. We are back for another episode of Unscripted Verbiage, where we speak with some of my favorite musicians from all over the world. Today, we are joined with Travis Marc from Deep Sleep Atlantic. They are a New Orleans-based band that you might not have heard yet, but you will now. So, Travis is a South African Music Award nominated I totally messed that up.
Multi is better.
Totally stepped on my tongue there, but multi-instrumentalist, producer, songwriter. I even added in for good measure because now he lives in New Orleans. He's an alligator wrangler and keeper of world peace. I just threw that in for good measure. But originally from Johannesburg, South Africa, residing in New Orleans. And so, how the heck are you, friend? That was a long intro, and I kind of stumbled over my words.
That was really nice. Thank you. I appreciate everything, especially the world peacekeeper.
Right?
Because don't we just need more of that right now? It's kind of nuts, isn't it? It's
it is,
wow.
Man. I tell you, you got to protect your energy, and just people will go nuts on you at the drop of the hat. But so I want to ask you though. So from South Africa to London to New Orleans. And then I know this, but a lot of people might not know this, but you moved here because of your wife. So how long have you been a Louisiana, New Orleans resident now?
In February, it'll be 6 years.
Wow. Okay, so 6 years.
So coming up for 6 years soon,
You are definitely one of us now. You've made it over the 5-year hump, so we're keeping you forever. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, right? Yeah. We'll see what happens. So, man, so much has been going on. So I've got all kinds of questions and notes. But I guess we'll dive into the new album that was released in October in just a second. But I wanted to ask, I think the last time we spoke with you, you had a project called Dead Days?
Yeah, and I still do, except we haven't really done much in a while.
Yeah.
So we have an album that's, I'll take responsibility. I need to finish the album. I've just been slammed.
Yeah.
And because we don't get to gig or do anything like that because we're, across the world from each other.
Right.
The priority lands up falling quite low on the list,
So it's still on the list.
Yeah, it's still on the list. But I mean, will we ever do anything? No, probably not. But we, at very least, need to put out that next or the last, what might be the last album.
Okay.
Because the songs are finished, it's just down to the vocals.
Yeah.
And I've got to put some time aside for the vocals,
So, well, it's good to know that's still on the list, though. But now we'll dive into the new album. So, Deep Sleep Atlantic, if you're not familiar, alternative band out of New Orleans. It's Travis and another guy, Daniel. And I can't describe their sound. It's amazing to me, being a 90s kid and the type of music I used to see on MTV growing up. This fits totally in line with that. And so, I mean, I call it alternative, but how do you describe your music?
I call it alternative as well.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it's, I suppose it's like, you just mentioned 90s kid, right? So, think about what that entails, all the different things.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have had favorites, but I think we all had favorites. And, I think what potentially has happened to me over the years, and I'm just speculating because I don't know. It's not like I try to formulate it. That's just what comes out, I think maybe I was really into this for a little while and influenced by it without realizing. And then I was really into this for a little while and influenced it without realizing. And then eventually that's what came out. Yeah. So it wasn't I remember being in some of my first bands, and when I'm writing songs now, I kind of think, that just sounds like it could have been with that band. But I suppose if somebody who was a fan of that band maybe heard it, they'd be like, well, it doesn't sound like that at all. Because I've actually had people comment, oh, it's so different. Or even with my previous band, Dead Days, oh, this is not the same as whatever, So I don't know, I think alternative's a good term. I think it fits it well.
I put a note. I put creative alternative because the new album. I'll just go ahead and mention it. Secret Club for the Damaged, released this past Halloween. And I've got all kinds of notes. I'm just going to go through them. So
go for it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I want people to hear this album because it's so your vocals on Railway Spine. Okay, so you teamed up with Zach Loy from Live again, and I thought that was absolutely amazing. And I think Railway Spine was an excellent intro into the album, because then when you went into On My Knees, it just flowed. It was like this excellent little intro, and then boom. And which, by the way, On My Knees is absolutely my favorite song on the album. Like, everything about it is just, it's so heavy. The messaging, and then the video that accompanies it, which I'll segue into. We premiered their video for On My Knees on our website when it first came out. Yeah. And in fact, we still have it on our website underneath the music video. So if you go to mixedaltmag.com, you can dive into that. And we have quite a few of your videos on there. And so you can get into Deep Sleep Atlantic. And then also, too, we've done 2 articles previously on Deep Sleep Atlantic and Travis Marc. So if you search our website, you can find those and you can learn more. But continuing on, so what was your primary inspiration going into writing this album? Because none of the lyrics are the same, you know, but yet, like, I made the note here, you know, where was it? What I love, okay, this was my note. What I love about your music is that it's deep. It's not material for a surface level listener, and you really have to dive into it to get the full effect. And so, like, for me, when I first heard your new album, of course, the way I like to experience music, I got to put on the headphones. I put on the headphones, I push everyone out of the way, and I really get into the music. And what I loved about this album is that every song kind of seamlessly morphs into the next one. And so you've got this whole, like, concept album, you know, thing going on, but at the same time, it's just like, man, what is this? It's just amazing. So give us some backstory. I want to learn a little bit more.
Well, again, thank you for being so kind. And
thanks, I have more notes too. We'll go into this.
And thanks for always being so supportive as well, you know. I mean, no real deep thing, you know. We had started working on new material pretty much straight after the last album. I mean, I'm always working on material. It might not be full songs. It might be pieces of songs. It might be a chorus. It might be a riff, whatever it is, right? And, you know, the one good thing about having smartphones attached to our skin now is I can record those ideas instantly. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't lose them. I mean, I remember, you know, when I was younger, I would have a strict policy that if I couldn't remember the idea the next morning, well, then it wasn't good enough to be produced or finished or whatever. In hindsight, that's probably really stupid. How many good ideas might have been lost? But so, you know, always recording ideas and coming up with ideas and stuff. And Daniel had gotten involved with another artist for a while.
Okay.
And so we knew that he was going to be going on the road for a couple months. Mm-hmm. And so I'd started bouncing ideas down, doing pre-production on a bunch of songs. And I had a load, you know, and so I started narrowing it down, sort of thinking, well, I think these might work well together.
Right.
And they kind of fit a theme, even though the reality is it's not always what it sounds like, you know, like sometimes I'm writing lyrically so that it seems like, oh, I can relate to this because it's about a relationship per se. But it might not be about a relationship. Sometimes those kinds of songs, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but sometimes with those sorts of songs, like sometimes I'm writing them, and I use that very loosely as well, because sometimes I don't feel like I'm writing them. Sometimes they're just there, you know? And so, they're just there, you know? And it's like, I've heard people talk about like a muse and, oh, you know, it channels through you and stuff. And I used to always think like, what a load of like hogwash, you know, like you got to work at this stuff. And I have worked at it. I'm not trying to discredit that, but there is something to that. If you're willing to keep that channel open, like, man, the stuff just comes. And like, so anyway, to kind of answer your question, I demoed a bunch of songs and I started sending them to Daniel because I played everything on the first record. And because then Daniel and I formed the band, I was like, well, you know, we got to start like playing like a band. So I sent them to Daniel. Daniel's got a drum studio. So he started recording all the drums before he went on tour.
Okay.
And so he sent me the drums back. And then essentially I had a few months to try and get everything else done. So I recorded, you know, the bass and the keyboards and the guitars and whatever, right? And I got it to a point that I was fairly happy. And then I started kind of like trying to listen to it in sequence. Because I know that most people don't listen to albums anymore. But
well,
I do.
I do. I'm the weirdo that still does. So.
Me too. And I think there's something special about it. Like you experience it more how it's supposed to be experienced.
Exactly.
I think, you know?
I think so too.
You know, and it's like, so we ended up putting out a few singles, and the singles did okay. But like, I think if people could go and listen to the record, there's a lot of like, I don't want to necessarily say like close to the bone subjects and stuff, but like there's a lot of like, the reason I called it Secret Club for the Damaged was because like we're living in a time where it's like everybody's got something.
Oh, yeah.
Like even if it's like just to pretend they have something, it's like everyone seems to have something, right? Like, and I'm not trying to make fun of that in any way, shape or form, because everybody's got something. Even if it's just a vice or a mental issue or a health issue or a finance issue or whatever it is, right? And I started trying to like sort of conceptualize the theme along that, but write it in a way that maybe you mentioned Railway Spine, and maybe you hear it and you go, oh, well, this album's going to be all about heartbreak. Well, that depends on how you're listening to it. Because yes, on the no, it's not, but on the surface, it is.
Yeah.
You know, so like a song like On My Knees, like originally, like I've got the demo, and the demo didn't change much from the actual recording, like the full production of it. But I think, you know, I'll end up tweaking a couple lyrics. Like I think originally with On My Knees, I was doing some co-writing with a couple people, you know.
Okay.
And I think when I came up with On My Knees, I had sent it to a fairly prominent singer-songwriter guy who has quite a successful band, and I wanted him to co-write the song with me.
Right.
So I came up with the riff, I came up with the first verse and the chorus. So essentially that's the song, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted a different verse from somebody else. And as what typically happens with, unfortunately, a lot of musicians, is it just kind of falls by the wayside.
Right.
And I don't think it's necessarily intentional. It's just life, right? Like people get bogged down by life. And so anyway, yeah, I know that possibly beats around the bush a little bit, but that was the idea, you know. So I kind of finished the songs, got them recorded, started listening to them in like a bit of a running order. And then I was like, okay, well, now it's time to start tweaking. Not musically, because that was all recorded.
Right.
But like lyrically, maybe if I change this one sentence here, or add a couple words there, or take out a bunch of words there, maybe I just repeat the same verse, or things like that. And that's when like the production side, for me at least, started coming out a bit more, because I was like, you know, I don't know if I have to have all of this. I don't need 4,000 words for a song, because attention spans are going to dictate that as long as there's one catchy hook, people might listen.
Right.
And then, you know, with the videos, I mean, same thing. And thank God for Daniel's wife, Danica. She co-directs or helps me produce those videos. And
I was wondering, that was one of my questions I had on here. Yeah.
So like, you know, her and I have like really formed quite a good team when it comes to the videos, because like I'll again conceptualize what I'm thinking.
Right.
And sometimes I get to storyboard it, and sometimes I don't, and sometimes it's just 100 conversations between her and I, back and forth, going, what if we did this? Okay, let's try it. We'll try it. Okay, this doesn't look too good. Let's change that. Okay, what if we do this? And like, you know, she's really open to working with different ideas. And then likewise, because that is not my specialty,
right,
I'm open to when she goes, this doesn't really work. She knows that I'm not going to get offended and go, well, I'm the artist and I need this. Like, I just go, oh, okay, yeah, well, if you think so, I'm totally on board. And then we like figure out, I mean, listen, there's been a bunch of stuff over the last like couple of years that we filmed thinking this is going to be great. And then we get it back and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look too good, or she doesn't even send it to me. She's like, we're not using that. I'm like, but we spent like a day filming that, you know? So, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of at a point where it's like, if somebody can get anything from the music, that's really all that matters, you know? And like, that was the whole point. The secret club for the damaged, man. Like, we're all kind of effed up, you know?
We are. None of us are perfect. I mean,
and
hell,
nobody.
I'll be the first to admit. I mean, you know, I deal with stuff in, you know, my personal life with my son, you know?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and some people seem to be oblivious to that fact and just have no empathy.
Oh, I know. Empathy's fallen by the wayside, man. That's one thing. I always put myself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, you know, I wouldn't want to treat another person how I would not ever, you know what I'm saying? Like, you treat other people how you want to be treated, you know? Respect.
Again, I think phones, and I hate to sound so anti-phones.
No, you and I probably share the same sentiments because we're around the same age.
You know, I just like, it's screwed everything up, man. It's like everybody's entitled and everybody... You know, like, people will go on, especially when it comes to music, they'll go, well, at least you can put your music out there. You know what? Like, that's not necessarily a good thing. Because, like, now there is a lot of great music out there, and that is a good thing. But to find that really great music has become almost impossible unless the artist has a huge budget to put behind marketing and PR. And even then when they do, because I have in the past, you know, it's not guaranteed to do anything. Not that you should expect that. The gift should be you got to create something, and that should be good enough. And it took me a long time to learn that because I've been doing this my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
But like, you know, people go, well, at least you can put your music out there. You know what? I found ways to put music out there my whole life, long before social media. Mm-hmm. So, and it was way more fun because, like, you'd have to be creative. You would have to go, like, spray paint bridges or hire people and go stand at traffic lights and give out press copies of your CD or whatever it was. And even though that's old fashioned, it's like it was an adventure. And you read like these stories or you see these biographies of bands that really did cool stuff.
Right.
They all did that stuff. They didn't sit there going, well, what video do we need to create so that we can get 1 million views on a reel? And I'm not trying to put that down. There is creativeness happening with some of that stuff. But I'm just like, you know, every time I talk to any of the people on my team, it's always like, well, you got to put yourself out there more. You got to, like, share yourself. It's like, listen, cool. But I put myself out there enough that when it comes to my own music, I don't need to be telling people what I'm eating. I don't need to be telling them, like, listen, I love my life, but it's my life. And if you want to know more about it, like, you can see little snapshots of the good things. I'm not going to put out, you know, like, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's gotten a bit intrusive.
It has, to be quite honest. And, well, you know what makes me mad? It's like I'll have this debate until I'm blue in the face. Everyone's like, oh, TikTok has done wonderful things for music. I'm just going to say it. No, the hell it hasn't. It has lowered the attention spans of people to where they only want to hear a teeny tiny snippet of a song. They just want to hear the hook. And then, you know, the algorithm only pushes the things that are quote unquote trendy, you know? And that kind of leads me like to our magazine, you know, all people ask me all the time, you know, well, do you look at your stats? Do you look at this? I'm like, yeah, I glance at them, but that doesn't matter to me. Are the right people seeing what I'm doing and then reaching back out to me? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. And,
totally.
You know, and then even like with your music, man, I think you're doing it the right way because you don't want to water down your product. You have a strong product. I mean, I'll just go ahead and say it. I freaking love Deep Sleep Atlantic. You know this. I told you this. And social media has watered down the music industry. It's watered down intelligence. People are just, as I like to say, the porch light is on with these people. They ain't nobody home, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like everyone wants to, you know, say, well, I've got all these streams and they, you know, talking about all their stats. When everyone was doing their Spotify end of year, I'm thinking, who the hell cares? I don't even listen to Spotify because they take too much money and they're dishonest.
Well, you know? You mentioned Spotify and TikTok and all of these things, and I get it. It's become a necessary evil.
Right.
Right? But, like, originally I wasn't going to put this record on Spotify, and then I was advised that would be a silly thing to do, so I landed up doing it. But let me tell you, man, like, the very small little niche audience that we've created with Deep Sleep Atlantic, I would rather have that small niche audience knowing that they actually care about the product than feeling diminished because I didn't get 3 million players on Spotify. You know, for what? For the couple $100 that's going to give you.
Right?
The thing that Daniel Elk, I forget, from Spotify drove me nuts with was he did a thing for the press. It was not too long ago, maybe within the last year. Mm-hmm. And he said something along the lines of how content creation is free and that it doesn't cost you anything. So, like, it's in artists' best interest to be out there, right?
Right.
Listen, as somebody who, you know, spends a lot of time with people making their records and has spent my entire life still making sure I get a certain amount of practice in each day and all that stuff. And then even, you know, doing the podcasts and stuff myself. I know that this does not cost anything because you've had to take time out of a Sunday from your family and your friends and just your personal time to create content for people to view. Now, yes, we're going to benefit from that because if they view it, it helps your site, it helps my band, it helps all these things. But to say that it doesn't create anything while you've become a billionaire off of other people's creations, that drives me a little up the wall. I've got to be honest, you know.
Well,
and I mean, yeah, so I was
just saying the number one thing that bugs me right now in the music industry is just the dishonesty. It's like, you know, we all know it's always been dishonest and it's always been about who you know, but it's at this tipping point right now where it's like, it's not only is it dishonest, but the quality of the things that they're pushing to us, it's like a 2-year-old could have made it. And then I'm not discrediting these people's talent, but I think a lot of the talent is manufactured in a studio via auto-tune and things like this. And, you know, it's almost as if real artistry has taken a back seat to numbers. Like that's all it's about is numbers. And me, I'm an artistic individual. I love music because of how it inspires me. You know, I'm not just jumping on a song because it's the newest trendy song that's going viral. I could give two shits less, you know? Forget trends.
Yeah. No, I have to agree.
I keep it real, man. I just keep it real. So now I do want to dig into these music videos. So I made some notes. So you already mentioned about, you know, Daniel's wife being the one to help out and everything.
Yeah.
But so Bones is one of my favorite videos you guys have done to this day. And then just even that song is just incredible. But I remember the last time you and I met, and I wanted to get this on record, you told us about recording the video for Blue in the pool and what it did to your eyes. So I want to tell this story because, guys, I want you to know the true artistry of Travis Marc and how committed he is to his craft. So
I'm still having issues with my left eye. I'm not even lying. Like it's not what it was, but yeah, it's never been the same, man. Well, to set up the story, Blue. Yeah, Blue was supposed to, you know, I thought it would be great to do it underwater. And so we came up with how we can do this. And this gentleman who's a friend of Daniel's was kind enough to let us use his pool, really beautiful pool. You know, it doesn't look like a pool in the video. It looks like I'm in the swamp or something. It's kind of cool. But what I didn't realize is just how difficult it was going to be, because I don't know how much video you've ever been involved in or seen or whatever, but it's not a matter of, people think like in a 3-minute song, well, that'll take an hour. Right? Like,
it takes forever because you got to set up each shot and
it takes days. Okay, days and sometimes weeks. But anyway, so Blue we shot over 2 days. One day was the band shots, and one day was the water shots. Mm-hmm. And we decided that with the water shots, it would make more sense to just be me rather than the band. We couldn't figure out, you know, we didn't want to destroy our gear and even cheaper gear that we had. We didn't want to have that in water for that period of time. And so we started, I can't quite remember what time, but it was early-ish. And then we filmed. And we kind of, again, in my head, I'm like, well, we've only got to get a few lines here, this and that. Well, we filmed just all day, into the night, right? In the pool, out the pool, under the water, in the pool, out the pool, under the water. And I'm in a suit. And so like I'm in smart shoes and I'm in like I'm in a suit, and with every dip in and out of this pool, I'm just like getting more like I can just feel like it's just getting more and more uncomfortable. But I'm trying to like sing underwater because like it's supposed to look like I'm able to sing underwater.
Right.
And listen, after doing that for like an hour, I was like, I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the stuff just needs to be me like underwater, because I'm like swallowing so much pool water and like my eyes are burning and like whatever, right? So towards the last couple hours, I feel my eyes just feel like daggers, right? I'm just like, my eyes feel terrible, but no one's saying anything because it's dark. It's dark at this point, and it's like, I mean, it's close to midnight, maybe even later, I can't remember, but every shot and every scene, we finished the thing and I'm just like, oh, my eyes are like sucking, right? It feels like someone's put cactuses in my eyes, right?
Right.
And finally, all right, that's a wrap. I'm like, thank God, you know, I'm hungry. It's been a long day and all this. And I'm like, my eyes feel like shit. And so, you know, I go and change. I brought some dry clothes. And like I said, I've been in and out of this pool all day. Yep. And I do believe the pool was clean. It looked clean when we started. But anyway, I go change and everything, and I look in the mirror, and my eyes are like bloodshot. Like, they are bloodshot. But I'm like, well, look, man, it's cool. Like, we've all swam with our eyes open a bunch of times. Like, they're going to go red.
Right.
But they just didn't feel good. You know, like they just felt horrible. Like even thinking about it, it's just like making my eyes like, this one feels like it wants the water. And so I let them drive. I try to wash them out a bit, and that didn't help. Yeah. So like I go say my goodbyes to the crew and everybody, and I'm like, man, my eyes don't feel good. No one says anything. Something, well,
they never say anything. Yeah,
I'm thinking they obviously don't look too bad, right? Like, because like Daniel in particular, if they looked that bad, he'd be like, dude, like, what the fuck, you know?
Right.
And but he didn't, and so I'm like, well, cool. So I get in the car. It's been a long day, and so I'm like, well, I'll drive home. And on the drive home, I noticed that everything's just like a little kind of fuzzy, not blurry, but like full on fuzz. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, it's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna get home. I wash my eyes out. I'll get a good night's sleep, right? Like, and so I do that. I get home. My eyes still feel like trash. I get home. I get some like a warm cloth, and I do the whole thing, you know. And I go to sleep, and I'm like, oh, my eyes just feel crap, you know. But I get some sleep, and I wake up the next day thinking, well, this is gonna be great. You know, everything's back to normal, kind of thing. And I had a bunch of stuff to do for the day, which I can't remember what all it was, but I wake up, and a few minutes later, my wife woke up and she goes, like what is going on with your eyes? And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? And I'm thinking, that, you know, that was just a bit still red. Right. And I go to the mirror, man, and my eyes are just screwed. They're all like just bloodshot. They look like I got red contacts in, you know?
Oh my God, that's dedication to his craft, okay? Messed up eyes from filming a music video underwater, which you guys need to go watch it now. It's for Blue.
I do love the video.
Album Prelude. It's amazing. The man put in the effort, okay?
Well, so anyway, so, you know, always the optimist side. My wife's like, you should go to the doctor. I'm like, it's going to be fine, man. Yeah. It's chlorine. It's not a big deal. Well, that was at like, I don't know, 7 or 8 a.m. and it did not get better. And so by like 4 p.m., I went to the optometrist, and he took one look at me, and he like rushed me to his little back room, and he tried some different drops that burnt like hell. And he goes, oh, dude, he told me I picked up some eye infection. I picked up an eye infection. And basically I had to be on these steroid drops for like, like a week. And finally my eyes came right, but I looked stoned for about a week. And I remember having to like explain to a few people, because I'm in the music industry. I had to explain to a few people like, hey, listen, I'm not high. Like I just my
I'm not on drugs.
My eyes are screwed up. And yeah, like now they feel all good, but I definitely my left one has still some nights, man, some nights when I'm like driving back from gigs, like last night I was driving back from a gig, it was really late. And I'm just like, what is going on with my eye? It hasn't affected my vision. It's just like every now and then, it's almost like gets all prickly and it gets fuzzy, and that never used to happen before that video.
Man, so dedication times a gajillion.
Listen, in hindsight, the idea was great, but in hindsight, it was a stupid idea, you know.
But now everyone needs to go watch the video. Once again, go watch the music video for the song "Blue" off their album Prelude. It is on YouTube. The video is gorgeous. It came out absolutely amazing. But knowing the pain this poor man went through to make this video,
it was worth it. I was very happy with the end result, you know.
Yeah, it came out so good. And then that leads me to, so we've already touched upon the videos, but all of Deep Sleep Atlantic's videos are visually stunning. With, you know, you can see the thought process and the love that went into coming up with the script and the treatments and the visuals. And it's not just basic performance videos. It's like kind of bringing it back to the old school MTV vibe, which I'm trying on again, but where videos actually completed the whole message with the song, because the visual coincides with the music, you know. So I invite everyone to get on YouTube and look up Deep Sleep Atlantic, go down the rabbit hole, check out all the videos. I mean, these guys, they're absolutely amazing. But I'm not done with questions yet. So now, in addition to Deep Sleep Atlantic, you are all over the place. All right, I know you have the Musicians Mentors podcast, and then I know that you play instruments in several bands in New Orleans. So take us through that.
What do you want to know?
Well, I mean, I know you play drums a lot, and you know, you're multi-instrumentalist. So I know you. What bands are you playing drums for now, and then what other bands are you playing for? So people can come see you.
It depends on the month, you know. I mean, I've got a couple staple ones that I play with. I play drums in some really excellent bands. The one that's most notable down here, they're called Mojo. Like they've played the Super Bowl, and they've played like a bunch of the Mardi Gras. We're playing with Wang Chung at the end of the month.
Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Exactly.
Hell yeah, man.
And to quote my friend Alex MacDonald Harris, everyone needs a little Wang in their life.
Right.
Yeah, and so like that's a really killer band. The musicians in there are just spectacular.
Yeah.
So I play drums with them, and then I also play drums with another band called the Daywalkers. They're like a Cajun Zydeco band, which is pretty crazy because if you ever told me that I'd be playing Cajun Zydeco music, I didn't even know what Cajun Zydeco music was 5 years ago. You know, I play with Chris Vincent. He's like a singer-songwriter. He kind of gets lumped in with the blues, but it's not blues.
Yeah.
That guy's a phenomenal songwriter. And I've said it since I've known him. Him and I are very, very close friends. And you know, I do some stuff for him in the background. And I remember him when we first started talking, he was like, well, you know, it's like blues. And I was like, dude, this is not blues.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thinks it's blues because of the way he plays guitar. No, he's like a very Bob Dylan-esque kind of figure.
Okay.
And
I
really think, even though it's one of those types of musics or music genres that you have to listen.
Right.
If you see a 5-minute or 5-second clip, you're going to be like, what is this? And maybe not be too intrigued. But if you actually switch off and listen, he's a phenomenal songwriter. Like, phenomenal songwriter.
And I've never checked out his stuff, but now you're going to have me going down the rabbit hole once we finish.
Yeah, and you know, he put out a really good album last year, but we've been working on a new one, him and I, which I play on, and Joe Giuliani from Chawa plays on, and Johnny Vodakovich plays on. And that'll be out, I guess, sometime this year. But just interesting stuff. Again, maybe not for everybody, but whose music is for everybody, you know?
Well, right, yeah, all music is subjective. I mean, a lot of people don't like some of the stuff I listen to. I mean, I listen to some weird stuff. I ain't gonna lie.
Me too. Me too, you know? So again, it really depends on the month, you know? I mean, I've had some months where, I kid you not, I've juggled like 12 bands for the month, and I'm looking at my calendar. I mean, I'm not lying. I'm extremely blessed, you know. Like, people say you can't make money as a musician, and I get it. It's maybe not as secure as like working a regular 9-to-5 job per se, but I'm extremely, extremely blessed, touch wood, because like I've got bookings till like October already this year, and the year's just started. Yeah. You know, and I've already got like 3 projects that have like signed up with me to produce their albums, and it's like, so it's like I'm always working, I'm always working. It might not always be on stuff that you want to work on, but it's all within the music realm, and it's just all music, man. I just love music, you know.
I know that's like me, you know, I don't care what I'm doing just as long as it's music related.
Yeah.
People have been asking us too because we've started, you know, promoting local shows and stuff. And for me, that's just a way to add my name to bands that I believe in to hopefully get their product out there and in front of people's eyeballs, you know, ears. And, you know, it's just, I'm passionate about music, and I'm passionate about getting good music out there because I feel like a lot of the really great music has been buried since the advent of social media and the way they're doing things now. And it's like you have to have a way to cut through the clutter. And, you know, even like with what I'm doing, that's what I'm trying to do is pluck these artists out that normally would be buried and then, you know, hey, or check them out, you know?
No, listen, you guys do a great job. And again, I've been doing this my whole life. There used to be so many people like you. It's just like there were so many bands. I mean, you know, bands, there are still a lot of bands, but the band mentality of a group of musicians who form a collective, it's becoming less and less. You know, that's why you see two-piece bands like us.
Exactly.
You know, it's like people don't want to be in bands anymore. The moment they realize how much work's involved or how little the reward can sometimes be, they don't want to be in bands. And you know, again, because of social media, which I understand, again, it's necessary in certain ways, it's become a matter of, well, these 5 things are good and everything else sucks. And that's not true. Like, it's funny, you know, and we're all guilty of it. Like, I've watched certain movies in my life and gone, what a load of rubbish, right? But as I get older, I start to realize that, like, even if you think it's trash, you know, whether it's an album, whether it's a movie, whether it's a whatever, a reel, time has been taken. Time has been taken to do it. Someone has curated ideas and storyboards or songs and melodies, whatever it is. So it might not be for you now, but maybe you're just not, maybe you're not ready for it. Or maybe you are ready for it, but it's just the wrong day. Or maybe you're in a good headspace today and that particular thing isn't sort of relating to you.
Right.
Or whatever the case is. So it's like, I'm trying to like look at stuff more like that. Like, you know, it's like, I'm around musicians all the time and some of them are so quick to go, well, that sucks. Well, this sucks. And listen, I was definitely there for a period in my late teens. Totally. But somewhere along the way, I realized that, like, okay, even if it does suck, there's got to be something I can learn from it. You know?
Exactly.
There's got to be. You know, even if that's what not to do, I don't know. But, like, there's good in all of it, man. Like, there's no music I don't like. You know, there's definitely ones I prefer. Right. But, like, you know, it's all cool, man.
I know, that's how I feel. And you know what's crazy? Like, growing up, I was never a fan of country music. Like, it wasn't my flavor. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Everyone else, you know, loved it. That was their big thing. I was the girl listening to the Breeders in 6th grade, you know?
Yeah, awesome.
But now, you know, here I am at 44 years old, and I'm just now starting to embrace country music and appreciate it for, you know, the artistry that it is. And, you know, like to your point, sometimes you hear something and it's like, not yet, but then maybe somewhere later on down the line it fits and you're like, you know what, that is really good. And I see the value in that. You know? But for me, it's, I guess what has really turned me off about the industry these days is just all the vulgarity in mainstream music, and then it's being marketed to children. You know, it's like, what are we teaching these kids at such a young age? You know, like, this is normal? No, you know?
You know, the to play devil's advocate here, because I've had this conversation or about this particular topic. If you go back in history with popular music, it's always sold that way.
Oh,
always.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So it might not have been, you know, as much bare skin.
Right.
But it was pelvises, or it was even if you look at like album covers from like the 60s, 70s, or even like early heavy metal album covers, so often it was just some like half-naked person on there that had nothing to do with the band. That wasn't because everyone in the band was a pervert thinking, oh, we got to put this out. That was because someone at the record label was like, well, you know, sex sells, and if we do this, someone will buy the record, and then we might have a chance to actually recoup our money. It's like, I agree there are better ways to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and even with some of the people that are doing it, some of them do partake in it in a tasteful way, where some of them are just straight up, you're just like, I know exactly what you're doing here.
Yeah.
You know, but again, you know, until that eventually is decided or discovered by individuals by themselves, people will just think that that's the norm, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a young girl singer. I need to act and dress a certain way. I'm a young guy singer. I need to act and dress a certain way. It's like, listen, whatever, you know, like
your own person, you know, yeah.
That would be advisable. Like if you could get comfortable in your own skin, that would be wonderful. But again, you know, the thing that doing this as long as I have has taught me is that some people are never comfortable in their own skin. You know, I mean, I know some really successful musicians who they are completely different people to what the world thinks.
Right.
And they not, and again, I'm not trying to stereotype. I'm talking about a select small group of certain people. Like some of them you would think are confident and like, you know, have all their shit together.
Right.
But behind closed doors, no, you know. Yeah. And it's funny as well because, like, again, you know, I have these conversations with musicians and up-and-coming musicians, and everyone thinks you need this to do that, and you need that to do this, and you don't need anything, man. You need a goal, and you just do it. Like, and there's been enough successful guys over the last few years because of phones and social media that have suddenly broken through. I mean, like, I don't know what your thoughts are on someone like Post Malone, but I think Post Malone's a genius. Because
I think he's extremely talented, but I will say, and, you know, please don't get offended by this, he's extremely talented. I like a lot of the things he's done, but then there has been some things that he's done, and I'm not a fan because I think he completely butchered some things and just...
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, right? Like, but the reason I mention someone like him is, like, he's so... not what you expect.
Oh, I know.
You know, when he first came out, it was exactly what I expected. Then he suddenly did some other things. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then he did some other things. And I was like, he's so there's variables and multifaceted. And I just think that, I don't know, I get the feeling that behind that guy, I've never met him, I don't know him, but I feel like he's genuine. I feel like he's actually doing what he wants to do because that's the art he wants to make. Whereas I look at some of the stuff, and again, judging it without knowing it, but some of it I look at and I go, this isn't real. Yeah. There's a look that's been put together. It's like you were alluding to earlier. It's like there's a look, there's a sound, there's a thing, you know. But listen, I played in a manufactured band for a couple of years, and it's like, would I do it again? No. But as a musician who thinks that you got to do these things to get to a certain place. If that's your only way in, fuck it, man. Do it. Like, as long as you can sleep at night, you know, like that's the only thing that I kind of think that you got to question, because I know some guys who, man, I could tell you stories, but I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of just.
Oh no, I understand. I've heard some stories from
butchering certain people, but like they will step on anybody, they will steal, they will cut your throat while you're sleeping just to get ahead, thinking that they're going to stay there. But you can't behave like that. It's the music industry, especially now, even though we are bigger because of the social medias and the internets, it's a very small place. Oh, yeah. You know, and I as a younger musician, I remember burning a bridge or two, and it's like, I'm thankful in regard to it taught me a few things. But I see some guys who are old enough to know better, and the way they carry themselves sometimes makes you just go, but again, I'm old enough to know that it's none of my business. So I bite my tongue and I just go, all right, well, we'll see what happens with this guy. It's none of my business. It's not your life, right? Like it's much like life. Like everyone thinks that there's all these rules you got to, no, there's no rules. Like you do the best you can with what you can, and some guys get lucky, but some don't, and some destroy people's lives in the process and don't seem to bat an eyelid. But I'm not going to be that guy, man.
Yeah,
like
that's me. I'm not going to be that girl, you know?
No way.
No way.
No way.
I sleep too good at night. Yeah, I'm good. So I guess the last question I have for you. So with all these projects, I mean, you are just everywhere. Production, playing in bands, you know, putting stuff out with Deep Sleep Atlantic. So are there any plans to play any dates in 2026 with Deep Sleep Atlantic? And what are your goals for the band going forward?
Well, so we got a couple things in the pipeline. Daniel gets back to the States next week. We'll get a meeting and kind of like figure out what some of the moves are. I'm already working on material for the next album, which, you know, we'll see what happens there. We're shooting another video on I think it's the 14th or the 15th of January.
Okay.
No, wait, I'm wrong. It's the week after. So whatever that would be, the 22nd or so. I'm not sure when that'll kind of come to fruition, you know, because of the edits and all that stuff. In terms of dates, we have been talking about trying to do some things. It's a scheduling thing at this point,
right?
You know, because like the intentions to do certain things are there. We would love to go on the road for 6 months, but we also have other commitments, you know. You know, I run a studio and Daniel runs a production company, and like between those and then, you know, my dates with other artists,
right?
You start going, well, okay, that leaves us with these little blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to playing locally, you can't always get those blocks because it's Mardi Gras time or it's Easter time or it's whatever. So it's like, we'll probably, if we do any dates, once we decide that, they'll probably be out of town, to be fair. You know, we've realized that unfortunately the genre that we seem to play doesn't always cater for us locally.
But I'm working on that.
I know, and it's so appreciated. But like, so like, you know, we are talking about potentially going to some other places. We've had some communication from a handful of places. Whether they happen, I don't know. It depends on how logistics and the rest of those things come together.
Right.
But in a perfect world, we'll at least do this other video. I'll start demoing or pre-production on the new things that I'm thinking for this third album. And, you know, depending on schedules, maybe try to do some stuff, you know. We'll see.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I hope I can get y'all in Baton Rouge soon because I'm working on some stuff too. And then
awesome.
We have a busy 2026. I've got 2 charity shows I'm playing.
Amazing.
I've got this varsity show coming up with a reunion for a band that hasn't played in 13 years. And then everyone else has been hitting me up about getting booked. And I'm like, oh, I got to run everything else. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, good luck with it all.
Yeah. I'm like Superwoman these days. But in closing out, is there anything else that you would like people to know about the new album or just about you guys in general so we can drive them towards the music?
Not really. I mean, just thanks for taking the time to listen. If you've listened, and if you haven't, please do. If you have any questions about the band, just drop us a DM. I'll respond. I mean, I always do. You know, I probably need to be a little bit more active on our social medias, but like, again, you know, like, I'm just like, I'm not going to make up that things are, oh, look, we're doing this. It's like, who cares? So what? So we got together for a barbecue? Like, nobody cares. Like, I don't even care. Like, I want to be in the moment. I want to, like, be with the people I care about. And, like, you know, we could be dead tomorrow. A good musician friend of mine died a couple of weeks ago. And if that doesn't teach you that, like, it could end like that, then, I don't know, man. There's more to life than these stupid things, you know.
I agree, and that's why I always tell people, I go, you need to wake up each day like it's your last day here on this earth, and anything could happen. And would you want to spend your last day on earth glued to your phone?
Yeah. Yep.
You
know, so
exactly.
You know.
Well, I thank you so much. We've been talking with Travis Marc of Deep Sleep Atlantic. They are an amazing band out of New Orleans. Travis does it all. So thank you. If you've listened to this today, be sure to go and check out their music. I'm going to throw up links to everything, so it'll be your one-stop shop to everything Deep Sleep Atlantic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You are the best. No, I appreciate it too. Thanks so much for everything.